Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hey, Polly, how are you? Good to see you. Always good to see you, Polly. Um, yeah, if you guys can give some likes, because we're going to talk about some things in regards to the twin flame journey. And something I've been really preaching a lot of that isn't preached enough. And so the more likes, the more people are going to join, because we need to spread the message for the twin flame journey, because unfortunately, we're getting way too many negative, how do we put it? There's too many negative, judgmental things happening against the twin flame journey, against ascension. And so we need to support many of, not forget me, but many spiritualists who are incredibly talented, who are not getting their voices out there. And the ones who are getting their voices out there are saying things that are really diametrically opposed to the twin flame journey and calling it a delusion, illusion, and so forth. Okay? And the twin flame journey has been talked about for thousands of years. Thousands of years. And if you look at any of the ancient stories, that goes back to the Odyssey with Penelope and Odysseus. I kid you not. It's there. Okay? It is there. And what people aren't understanding is that part of the twin flame journey, okay, part of it, 1/5, because the twin flame journey, just so you guys know, is 1/5 of the pie. 1/5. That's also what a lot of people are not discussing. What do I mean by that? The very essence of a twin flame journey is a spiritual journey. The main attraction is the sexual desire. It's the lure. Because mommy and daddy and Aunt Mildred and Uncle Billy are never going to teach you the kind of wisdom that a lover or a desired lover is going to teach you by ignoring you, hurting you, betraying you, what have you. I know it sounds fucked up because you're thinking, well, I mean, twin flame, why would I go into that? Because what happens is people will actually end up with people that are simple, okay, easy, quote unquote, easy, because they don't want to actually feel like they are losing control. So it's not unusual for women and men to marry lower vibrational connections. You know, they like him. Sex is okay. It's not great. Nothing to write home about. And it's easy because they figure, you know what, if this person hurts me or betrays me, rather, they're not going to destroy me. They're just going to hurt me. But they'll never destroy me. Hi, Sarah. So when a twin flame walks into one's life, and many of you are married, right? Let's say you're married. And your marriage is shit. Let's be honest, okay? It's not good. Or it's not great. Or it has a lot of holes in it. And it's had holes for a long time, but you chose to ignore it. What are the examples of holes? Separate bedrooms, because it's a celibate marriage. Not because one snores or you need your space, because there's some wonderful marriages where you guys have separate bedrooms. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about, hi, how are you, Paulina? Thank you for saying that. Paulina says, hey, Tony, glad to be here in this beautiful space. And so separate bedrooms, when it is a a celibate marriage, is a problem. And so you've been doing this for years, and suddenly, boom, here walks your twin. And suddenly all these sexual desires you thought were dead, right? You know, or controlled, are erupt out of you. And that starts the cycle of an awakening. And the first part of the awakening sometimes is the blissful bubble love of having an affair with your twin or being with your twin in some capacity. The kiss, sexual connection, or just romantic flirting connection. You know what I'm saying? And then from that point on, there's the runner chaser. It starts to be, it begins because the egoic forces are at play. And if you're a transcendental thinker, which typically most twin flames don't start out as being transcendental thinkers, it's all about 3-4D perspective. Oh my God, he's my twin. I can't get her out of my mind, or him, or whatever. I get it because I've been there. That sets up pain. And when can you help on this? Yeah, that's what I do. But anyway, so when all of these lack of freedom from the pain starts piling up, there's all of these things happening that are adding more and more pain to your journey. The first thing most people look at is from a twin flame perspective, instead of looking at it from a transcendental point of view, which is the spiritual awakening that begins. And ultimately, there's going to be two different twins at that point. A twin that wants to be enlightened and awakened, and is going to start asking the spiritual questions that are correct. And the twin that's going to go into a massive depression and stay there for a long time. All of us go through the dark night of the soul at some point. That's like, I almost feel like it's a rite of passage. And how you move and navigate through the dark night of the soul is going to be huge. And after that, you're going to go through this process of asking the right questions so that you start getting activated on multiple aspects of the ascension. And because you and your twin have free will, free will, by the way, is a double-edged sword. And the double-edged sword to the free will is, if you want to be, if a person wants to be a drug addict or self-sabotaging or self-destructive, self-harming, that's free will. That's the double-edged sword of free will. The other aspect of free will is saying, I'm so sick of this, shit that I want to heal. And I'll do whatever it takes to heal. The right questions are, why did I meet my twin? What are we learning from each other? What is the soul connection? What are some of the past lives I might have had with this person? What is being triggered here within me? What is my twin not giving me that I desperately want from them? It's not just sex. It's being seen. It's being honored, it's being cherished, it's being desired, it's being protected. But what happens if your twin dies? Then who gives that to you? See, if you can't give it to yourself you know what I'm saying? If you can't give it to yourself, and you never can give it to yourself, and your twin does give it to you, and then it's removed by them running or them dying or what have you, then what happens? You collapse. Does that answer your question, TF Journey? Yeah, so that's the right questions. The wrong questions are, is Jimmy and I going to be together? Is Jimmy the right man for me or the right woman? Is Jimmy and I going to have kids? Wrong questions. Wrong questions. Because when somebody messes your head up so bad and your heart out so bad that you can't eat, you can't sleep, and you can't think, and you can't even do your job, then you better think about asking the right questions. What is this? Because some people, unfortunately, out there are not in a twin flame journey, just so you know. They're in a looping karmic journey. Karmic, by the way, we're all karmics, okay? Just on the side note, we are all karmics. We have karma, and karma is good and bad, just so you know. Just like the Little Mermaid took on karma, right? To come and to be incarnated to come into the world with legs, giving up her voice, her ability to communicate. She gave that up to come in to be with the prince, right? Remember that story? Great story. People do not read that story like they should, because it's a hell of a story. And one day I'll tell you. But can one TF be a new soul? No, that's not how it works. Nope, not at all. Because the whole premise and the whole concept of a twin flame is the fact that you guys are split. And in fact, we also have concurrent incarnations, by the way, just so you know. And we ourselves split. We have concurrent incarnations happening, which is a mind bender for a 3D logical brain to accept. Let me see, what else? There was something else I wanted to say to you. I've been worried about this if my twin flame dies serving overseas. Yeah, no kidding. I would totally be concerned with that. Sage her remotely, Polly. Sage her remotely. And she needs to sage herself, and she needs to give her angels, guides, and allies permission to guide her and protect her. If I were her serving overseas, I'd be like asking Angel Michael for protection every day, every single day. That's me. So, new soul. Yes, that's what I want to answer. There's more to the question of, can one TF be a new soul? And that question is this. It can't be a new soul. I just explained why. What you're experiencing, if you feel that your twin is a new soul, is the egoic mindset of the person who is your twin now in this incarnation. Let's call her Jill. And Jill isn't very spiritually awake, and she's not emotionally mature. She's got an immature IQ, emotional IQ. Then that would give you the impression that she's a new soul, but she's not. She's just in a body that is very, seemingly playing their naive role. Times of separation are hard, but I feel the upgrade slowly, feeling lighter, finding peace. Yes. So that's what I would say to you. Okay? And sorry, Polly. I know that's intense. But she has to give Angel Michael permission, because part of our free will is they cannot. It's funny how people say, I'm guided by my angel. My grandmother guides me. And my question to them is, have you given them permission? Because if you don't give them permission, there's a spiritual law where they are not allowed to come and interrupt us at all. Not at all. Do you understand? Not at all. They are not allowed. Okay? Because we might have a soul contract with ourselves that we have to experience X, Y, and Z. Okay? Now, I give my angels permission every flippin' day. I say, angels, guides, allies, I give you permission to guide me in word and action every single morning. That comes out of my mouth. I might wake up at 4:30 in the morning, sit up and do a 30-minute meditation, give them my angels, guides, and allies permission, fall asleep. I wake up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, say it again, work on my chakras, and that's it. Does that make sense? I pray to Archangel Michael every time she goes to the field. Yeah. Is it wrong if you see someone else during separation? Well, let me put it that way. It depends on to what level of your journey is in the twin flame journey. It's never wrong to do anything you desire unless you're doing it for distraction. If you're doing it for distraction because it's something to do, because I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm dating because it's something to do. Yeah, that's wrong. But if you're doing this because you have this person is compelling, and you're getting a lot out of it, then it's not wrong, because it's probably another soul contract with a high-level soulmate. Does that make sense? That's the answer to that question. But everyone's different. And people who are doing it just because they want to kick rocks and get distracted from their pain and do X, Y, and Z and whatever because they don't want to be alone, yeah, that's a problem. I just saw my cat stealing snacks. I'm sorry. I have to supervise. Oh my Lord. Hang on. I'm with you guys. I'm listening. I'm watching your where the heck? Hang on. You are. Oh my Lord. Okay. I got myself a little rebel pirate here. Anyway, sorry. What if I don't want to date anyone? Like I should be alone until union? No, I never said you should do anything. You should do whatever you feel like doing. It's like if a child is sick and doesn't want to eat, but he drinks water, you don't force them to eat. Does that make sense? So that's my point here. So if you are in a situation where you want to be alone and you want to take this time to learn, okay? You want to learn about yourself, about the spiritual journey, then you may want to be alone. You may need to be alone, actually. And this is, you're divinely guided to be divinely alone. Does that make sense? So sometimes, I know I was alone for 3 years. So until I came into union with my twin. And that was really important for me to be alone. I could have never accomplished what I accomplished. No way. No way would I've been able to come through a major dark night of the soul and come out of it transformed and getting deeper and deeper into my meditation, deeper into my reflections, deeper into the trust, more even deeper and deeper still and deeper still. So for the last, I'd say since 20, hang on for a quick second. I'm going to tell you when I got really serious about, because I've always been spiritually awake and aware. But when they took, I'm going to tell you, in 2005, I had a heart attack, okay? And I used to tell people, I haven't cried in 3 years, like it was a flex. And it wasn't a flex. It was ridiculous. I was so in grief that it frozen. And that was my first dark night of the soul. And from that, I started kicking my way out of despair. And that's when I started asking myself the right questions. And my spiritual journey began really on that deepest level. So I think what happens for some of us is we go through multiple levels of awakening, which some people call Kundalini awakening, and people act as if it's only one deal. No, it's like saying I only get my junior high school diploma or my high school diploma. You get multiple diplomas. You get multiple types of Kundalini awakening. The more you know, the less you know. You are everything, you are nothing. You know, that kind of understanding. And sometimes you have to just chop wood and carry water. You can't, in other words, you've got to sometimes keep your meditations going, keep what's going on going, and yet just go and self-reflect. You know what I mean? In silence, in gardening, in connecting with Pachamama, nature, and so forth. If that makes sense. Yes, exactly. I feel the same. I've learned what I need to from relationships, and now it's time for me to feel safe in myself. Exactly. Is your mind quiet also? Well, there are very few people whose minds are quiet, to be honest with you. Eckhart Tolle talks about that. He says that he's able to remain quiet for 2 hours. And I'd say that's a hell of a flex, because because most people can't. Pauline, I criticize him without knowing how much it triggered him. Will he come back? I don't know. I don't know your situation, Paulina. I really don't. What I will say to you is that you need to repair it and apologize for having done that, because you can't come from that place. You know what I mean? You can't. It's easy to judge people, and it's funny too, because I just finished doing a reading with someone, and I said to her, you need to stop telling him what he hasn't done or has done. You've got to start speaking to him globally, and that means you can't always go personal. My whole thing is, if your twin is not being educated spiritually about who they are as a multidimensional light being, you will not have a shot in hell in coming into union with your twin, lasting union. You'll have unions, it'll be like a revolving door, but it will never last until your twin wakes up to who they are themselves. Does that make sense? So you can manifest your twin too. As a matter of fact, I teach people how to do that. Don't get me wrong, but I do tell them they're coming back, but they won't come back healed, because there are still steps to be done. Now, as long as you're okay with that, and you realize what you're supposed to be doing with that energy of them returning, and you do it correctly, then there will be no problems. So, does that make sense? Do you have any questions on that? So, your whole point on getting your twin awakened is bring you closer to union, okay? When you wake up, they wake up, because you guys have this umbilical cord, this connection that what you feed, you feeds them. So when you're in despair, you feel you're feeding them despair, which is not to say don't feel what you feel. That's not what I'm saying. It's to say understand that when you feel that they're in despair, you're definitely feeling it, okay? You're not making it up. And that's why you have to master energy work. My twin is going through a very dark night of the soul. Weird, I think I can sometimes tap into his soul. No, that's not weird. That's really true. I'm in separation, no contact, but I believe he's doing the work, or will he be, or will be because I am, feel it. Yes. Thank you. My TF told me my TF told me to just hold me over the phone to leave her alone, but wouldn't hang up on the phone. Yeah, well, that's what happens. They get angry at you because you awaken in them a lot of emotions, and they resent the hell out of you because you're just in your presence. That's what you elicit out of a TF. And but they can't let you go. So it's like a moth to a flame. It's like you know you're going to get your wings burned, and yet you can't help yourself. Okay, so that's not unusual. Thank you. I want to apologize, but he blocked me. I just hope I get a chance to. Well, the thing about blocking is he blocked you, and so star 67 is your friend. But I'm not saying use it to stalk them. Okay, don't fucking do that. I'm not saying you would, by the way. I'm just saying anyone listening, because I know some people, don't comment, but they're listening. So don't do that. Most of you know your twins' address, right? You know where they live. So go old-fashioned and write them a letter that repairs the damage, not to get them back, but to repair the damage so that kind of karmic problem isn't in perpetuity, meaning it doesn't keep reverberating throughout time. Okay, you don't want that shit. Me too, I'm blocked. So that's what I would do. We were separated, went quiet between us. He pulled away. I hope he's doing the work and will return. I miss him dearly. Yeah, but you can't hope somebody's doing the work. I thought as a divine feminine, I should not reach out. I don't know what these people are teaching you guys out there as a divine feminine. You have a broken masculine who might be going through the dark night of the soul. And other twin flame coaches are telling you guys not to reach out when you feel the pain of your twin. It's very similar to when the pediatricians in the early 19th century were telling mothers not to pick up the baby when it cries. By the way, that was considered normal. Just let it cry, it will cry out. Now finally there are studies showing how stupid that was. There was also pediatricians talking about the best thing you can do with your child is shake their hand, don't hug them. I'm not making this up, it's real, you can look it up. So when you have coaches saying the divine feminine should never chase, they've never chased before. I resent that because when no one's talking about chasing, no one is talking about chasing. Chasing is, I want you, I miss you, you're my twin flame, please come back to me, I love you, tell me why you're with her. That's chasing. Teaching is saying, I got this book, I know you're having a hard time, I'm sending you some links, I think they're going to help you. I know you're in pain, you're a smart guy, you're a smart woman. And because you're a smart guy or a smart woman, there's a lot of pain and you're not sure how to navigate it because in the 3D brain, you don't know how to navigate out of it. But there's a couple books I've been reading or there's a couple links I'm sending you right now because I'm hoping it helps you in you gaining clarity and healing. Is that chasing? I'm just thinking, is that chasing? And so I'm not sure what kind of coaches you're listening to. But chasing is no offense, is a lack consciousness. It's kind of like a pathetic energy, no offense. We've all done it, at least once. And then teaching is helping your twin come out of the dark night of the soul. Because some twin flames in the broken masculine are not strong enough to come out the other side. They're either going to regress back to bullshit, 3D bullshit, or they're going to have a really hard time birthing a new transformed self because it's so incredibly tight and painful that some of them actually unaliven themselves. I hate that word unaliven, but I don't want to get caught with the algorithm here. So I'll use that word, though I resent that word because that's not an appropriate word. We have much more visceral words that are very powerful that we should keep in the American language, English language. But anyway, beside the point, we need to understand that if we feel that our twin is suffering, we better reach out and say, whatever it takes, whatever your heart is guided. But again, you got to have heart coherence. You got to have a third eye opening. You got to, or else it's all ego. But it's all egoic based. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to push it. He's pretty avoidant. So what do we do? I don't know. Everybody's different. I do readings so I can tell individuals what to do because it's very sticky, and it can be very convoluted, and it can be very, very. What the right answer for one person is not the right answer for the other. You got to understand, we all have thumbs, but our thumbprints are different. My story is not your story, okay? So I do readings to help people do it correctly, okay? To navigate correctly through this. And to also help them understand how to think transcendentally. Does that make sense? And went back to his karmic. How do you know it's his karmic, Pauline? It could be his high-level soulmate. It could be, do you understand what I'm saying? You guys have to become transcendental, okay? Because if you're because that's an accusatory, it's his karmic. It could be a high-level soulmate or a soulmate that is an addiction, unrequited love from past lives, or whatever. We don't know, right? But try to, and I don't know why the spiritual community is misusing words. The karmic we're all karmic, okay? You guys are in a twin flame journey that is karmic. Let's be real. That's why you're in a twin flame journey. That's why there's runner chaser. That's karmic. Right there. Runner chaser is a karmic, unhealthy, toxic behavior, okay? So we're all karmics, number one. Let's just get that straight. And what we're trying to do is heal karmic ties and behaviors by forgiving ourselves, by releasing a lot of some scars from past lives and the present life, so that we have less karma, good and bad, to bring us back into the 3D loops of incarnations, okay? Does that make sense? All right. Thank you, Polly, for the roses. Contact me, you said? I don't contact clients at all. You can contact me, S. Evans. I can send you my my website, but you can go on my page, on my my profile page, and go on the link tree and fill out the intake form, and I'll call you. But I don't contact people because you could be scammed. So be careful, you guys, about you saying contact me, because the only person that's going to contact you on this on this thing is going to be scammers. Oh, your message got cut off. Okay, all right, cool. Well, good. So anyway, will karmic relation, sweetie, clearly they last, because here you are in a twin flame relationship, which is karmic, and it's lasting. Because even though you're in separation, it's still a relationship that's still alive, because as long as you guys are both thinking about each other, even in the runner-chaser connection, somebody running is running from something. That means they're consciously aware of you. That's why they're running. Does that make sense? That's why they're avoiding you. And so that is right there lasting. And that's karmic also. That's why we're called twin flames and not twin rays. And I'm not going to go into what twin rays are, because I do it every time. And I have videos on that, just so you know. No, there is more to my message. Okay, no problem. So let me see. He will tell me about her and say she was toxic, and they go a lot, and police got involved. Yeah. Red shift, blue shift. Red becomes blue, becomes red. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, why does stuff like that happen? Why is one person aware of the connection before the other? Travis asked. Because one is more 4D and is already aware of soul connections, have already experienced the concept of soul connections for the most part. There's always one that's more sensitive and more empathic than the other. That's classic, and that's why it happens that way. Let me see, what else? I said I'd love to be able to own my part with my TF, but I've been focusing on myself, believing my DM will contact me. Yeah, well, if that's your belief, that's great. I would go with whatever, but definitely when I don't like some of these coaches that are telling people to block their twin. And I know this for a fact because I've had like over a dozen clients tell me that there are coaches saying that, to block your twin. I'm completely against blocking a twin. I'm also against being triggered to the twin where you're like, reacting to what they're not doing and not taking the opportunity of conversation with your twin to talk about real matters, real spiritual matters. And telling a twin that you're a twin isn't what I'm talking about. Okay? So that's the problem that you guys need to understand, is that you want to be in union with your twin, and yet your twin isn't even aware of their own soul connection to source, and you're expecting them to heal themselves. It's almost like asking a baby to drive themselves to school. It's a 3-month-old baby. It can't even sit up. It can't even drive. It doesn't have a license, and you're asking this baby to actually get in the car and drive themselves to school. They're not even there yet. So you need to make sure that you're honest about the level of spiritual awareness that your twin is in. There's some twin flames that are 3D, 4D, meaning they're more 4D, they're aware, and they will actually heal themselves. They will actually go through that. But some twin flames are so trapped in 3D despair and pain and confusion and sexual trauma, because you don't become an addict because you had a great babyhood, a great childhood. Let me tell you, you usually become an addict because there was some trauma, some abuse of some kind, emotional, sexual, physical, or all of the above, unfortunately. So, and this really hits the masculine in ways that I don't think the feminine can even fathom. So when that happens, it's like asking a baby to find the road to source. It's like, good luck. So you as the more enlightened twin, it's your duty to educate them. If all you want is the puppy love and the sex, you're not going to be that twin. And that happens in these incarnations. It happens where the twin, one wants just the 3D life. They're 4D evolved, and then they know there's a strong spiritual connection, but they don't want to do the work. They want the twin to do the work, and they're expecting a 5-year-old to be a grown man. And that's not how it works. That emotional IQ, right, has to be evolved, and the spiritual IQ has to be evolved to some level to actually seek out the right questions, spiritual questions, to seek out the right people to answer it, or the right books, or the right tools, or whatever, to bring that person to that place. Does that make sense? So that's going to be something that you guys really need to understand, okay? So, okay, yes, we stopped blocking each other. We always ended up unblocking each other, so there's no point. Yeah, and here comes, I love this. You guys, I love it when some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. I love when people come in with their negativity. I was a chaser. One day I called him because I thought he was doing bad, but he hung up on me twice. Most choose to run from their fate because they fear the lessons. Well, some people run because they also have shit to do, to be honest. Like raising children to 18-year-olds, getting things done, like accomplishing certain things. And some do run from the lessons. But there quite often, not all runners are running for the same reasons. Again, my story is not your story is not their story is not your story. Don't forget that. Okay, we're not cookie cutters. That's why it's very dangerous. Thank you, Polly, for the roses. I really appreciate it. That's why it's very dangerous for coaches to give blanket answers for everyone, because it's bullshit. Like, one of the blanket answers is that everyone is going to go into union in 2024. And I laugh because I'm like, because it can't happen. Because some of you who you will not ever meet me are some twins that are 15 years old right now are going to be in 10 years, 25 years old. Are they going to be in union in 2024? No. They're going to be in union maybe in 2032 or 2045. So again, some of the statements are so asinine, it's insane. Are people going to come into union in 2025? You're damn right. Of course they are. And did some people come into union in 2023? Yes, I was one of them. Is that going to happen to everyone that's right now in their adult years? No, it's not. So that's why you have to be careful, and you've got to more or less tailor the suit to the person wearing it. Does that make sense? You can't just put a suit made for a person that's 5'5" to a guy that's 6'4". It's not going to fit, and it's not supposed to fit. What is supposed to happen is that when you have downloaded dreams, oracle dreaming is what I call it, of say your twin maybe walking, this is an actual dream of someone, walking 10 steps behind them, but now the twin can hear them. That's a sign that union is approaching. When a twin and you are, you're having a dream that you guys are laughing and talking and making love in bed, that's a sign that you guys are close to union. When you see hang on, okay. When you see certain synchronicities, signs that are happening, but the dreams are really, really oracle-like visitations, that's showing you that something is coming closer. Do you understand? Just like you can have oracle dreams that show you that the separation is going to continue because of X, Y, and Z factors. And if you know your situation, you'll understand what those X, Y, and Z factors are. Yes, we stop. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me see what else. Paulina says, my twin got into drugs after we lost our baby. It's been so hard for me after that. Hard. I bet it's hard. That's major shit. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. Sending you hugs, Paulina. This is really, 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 really bad. Let me see. Everything has to come from the source of the agreement. Exactly, it does. How did you come into union? I did what I told you to do. Watch my videos. I did exactly what... Sorry, you guys. Don't ask me to become guests here. I don't actually invite people here unless I know them and I think they're spiritually powerful, and then I bring them in. I actually invite them. So... you want to, so I don't just have nonsensical talks, no offense. You know what I mean? Like, I know, I need to know you before I'm going to invite you to one of my lives, just so you know. So don't ask me. You're wasting your time. No offense. It's nothing. I'm not rejecting you. I have something I have to say. I do these lives divinely guided by spirit. It's late as fuck. I've been working my ass off with clients all day, and I was told to do this live for this reason. That's it. So I'm not here to kick rocks, okay? I like how you compared that. Thank you. Do you believe all twins are meant to eventually come together? Yes, I do, Caroline. Very much. All of you. But you see, here's the thing you guys have to wrap your head around. If your twin and you and all of us have free will. So if your twin is hell-bent on losing, on hiding, on denying, that's their free will. That's the double-edged sword of free will. And there's nothing you and I can do about it on the level of trying to talk to them in a 3D level. So you need to go transcendental and speak to them on a 4D, 5D level. And if your 3D twin is a logical 3D twin, right, entrenched in it, and yet still suffering and expecting different results from the same damn mindset, then your job, if you can, is to use these unions not to have sex for 48 hours or whatever, however many hours they're going to hang out with you until they run again, but to use that time to take sex off the table, I swear to God, and educate them spiritually. And I talk about it all the time. I've really been pushing that big time, because sex isn't actually going to bond you with your twin. It was the lure, desire. Because, I mean, think of it. You were made millions of years ago. You've had, let's lowball it. Let's say you've had 100,000 incarnations with your twin. And many of them, most of them, you had sex. Some of them not, because you couldn't, because of X, Y, and Z factors, you know. You were a nun, they were not. He was a soldier, you were a noble woman. You know, you get the drift. So you couldn't have sex, but the desire was always there. And then you did have sex. So you guys know how to push each other's buttons sexually like nobody's business. But that's not the bond, you see. The bond is the soul connection. That they will, and the broken masculine will often have sex with different women to see if it's a one-off. Because when twin flames have sex, it's a mind blower. It's very healing. It's very empowering. It's like coming home, honestly. No pun intended. And what happens is that link is the first initial bond. And then it all settles into the spiritual connection of feeling like home. And that's what you guys are understanding. So you're leveraging sex thinking, if I get, oh my God, we're going to, no, that's not good. That's not going to keep your twin. What's going to keep your twin is to awaken them. And I have tons of videos on that. So I would really urge you to look at them just because they're free, you know. Is there yes, there is. So Nervous Nelly is asking, is there a way to know for sure they're your twin? Yes, I help with that. Yes. Can twin flames come into you while remaining platonic? Yes. Yes. It's called holstering your you-know-what. Yes. Yes, you can. I'm seeing my twin today, but it's one of those ending chats. No, not keen. Yeah, well, you got to change your chat. Thanks for being honest. Thank you. Well, what else am I going to be? You know the karma? You want to call about karma? If I'm lying to you, do you know the karma? I actually turn down clients because they want me to tell them the Bubble Love, Disney World, Barbie, and Ken story, and I won't do it. I won't do it for $108. They can kiss my buttocks. So if I know that the client wants the lies and the Bubble Love, I turn them down. I mean, why? Because it's not worth the karma. I wish he would be coming back. I know. That's the hardest part. Let me see what else. Thank you for you. I really appreciate you guys asking questions. I have never physically met my TF. That happens. That really happens. Still abstinent since 2012. Holy shit. You're a real one, Tony. Thank you, Polly. You're freaking. So are you. It takes one to know one. So everything I'm telling you, and I did it. Okay, so let me tell you, everything I've told you, I've done myself. And here's the caveat. I did it in the mindset of being in pain, of knowing that I was ready to say, I don't care in this life of the next. If I can't be in you with my twin in this life, fuck it. I'm going to do my mission. I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to get my head together. I'm going to be of service. I'm going to grow old in service to others. I will heal others. I will applaud others' love stories. I will help others come into union if this is the last thing I fucking do. But in this life or the next, I will allow my twin to navigate to me or away from me. And once I came from that vantage point, he started walking towards me. I'm just telling you. And I'm noticing that people who are in union, I have a client who's in Australia, and part of her mission, young woman, beautiful young woman, part of her mission was to apparently be an astrologer, you know, like actually do it for a living. And once she got into it, he finally came to her and said, I have a few things I got to wrap up. I got to travel to this other country. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And then I'm coming back for you. And I was like, holy shit. And she went, I know, holy shit, right? He's coming back. We're going to be in union. And so far, everything's going according to plan. Because she also turned her complete focus on him to her mission. And sometimes your mission isn't to heal and be of service to other people, by the way. Sometimes your mission is to be enough unto yourself and to really excavate some of your current lineage trauma that you chose to incarnate in from past life lineage trauma from other lineages you've embodied so that you could heal it. And once you're healed to some level of understanding, your twin hopefully will walk towards you in union. Some of you twins are enough for us to just watch you being happy as fuck. And that's your mission, to just be happy. Some of us have more on our plates, and we're here to be of service to the collective with our twins beside us. Okay? Like I have a vision of retreats and this and that. I was telling my twin yesterday, and this morning, I said, I really want you to help me work on retreats for men, and you and this shaman, you guys talk to the men so that you talk, because he's an alpha male, right? So you're going to be able to talk to the men about your journey and how they can navigate their own journey, their sexual abuse, trauma, confusion, shaming, their level of self-shaming about what they think is a man and what a man truly is, and how men in particular have to find themselves to be enough unto themselves. I'll give you an example. there is this weird idea that a man is not worth anything if he's not making, I don't know, some crazy shit like $500,000 a year or 1.5 million a year and this and that. There was a video I saw of a young man washing his face. You might have seen it on TikTok. And he had gone on a date where the date had the audacity to tell him that it was awful that he was a mechanic and that he was a mechanic of cars and how awful and disgusting that was. And that was, to me, awful and disgusting to see. So men have a lot to heal within themselves so that we can soften the feminine anger towards the masculine and the masculine anger towards the feminine. We have to do that because we've allowed this concept of divide and conquer for fucking centuries. That is also part of the problem of the twin flame union. Does that make sense, guys? I love the bluntness. That's it. I'm booking a session. It's funny. I hope you are. I'd love to meet you. Yeah, I waited for the right one. We just got to meet up. Thank you at Sacred Intimacy. You're welcome. That is a horrible thing to say to someone. It is. It might be horrible, girl, but I have a client who went on a date with a chick, and then her birthday was coming up. He's a rich man, by the way. And she sent him a link to a handbag that was $1,300 and said, I want this for my birthday. And he said, you know, the irony of it is the fact that she asked is just tacky. We've only dated once. Like, we only went to dinner once. The fact that she asked, the irony is I would have probably gotten her a gift certificate for $2,000 in Neiman Marcus. She didn't have to ask. I would have done it. But she didn't even know me enough to know me. And I said to him, but most importantly, she didn't have enough class to just shut up, just say nothing, because that's tacky. So there's a lot of weird things going on that are happening, that are being pushed, and it's creating a lot of egoic energies that are creating a rash between the divine masculine and feminine. Because if you think that the feminine out there and the masculine out there and their toxic behaviors doesn't affect the divine masculine and the divine feminine, you're wrong. Because what impacts, I don't care if it's 10,000 miles away, 7,000 miles away, at some point it's going to hit us with its frequency, especially you guys who are empathic. So it's important that you understand that we need to be the forefront of healing ourselves. We want to heal our twin. We want to help. We can't heal our twin, but we can help our twin heal themselves through giving them tools, right? The minute you learn something, you feed it to your twin, yeah? And then and that's going to help with the collective broken masculine, broken feminine out there. And believe me, that's a broken feminine doing that kind of shit. This whole sugar baby and sugar daddy bullshit is not new. At all. Okay, that's not a new concept at all. Not at all. Okay, there's in France in the 1800s, late 1800s, they had a thing called they were high class prostitutes called demi-mondaines. It means half world women, half world, and these women became very, very wealthy. There's a really good movie you may want to watch called Chérie with Michelle Pfeiffer. Great movie. It's during the Belle Époque of Paris, of France, and that world. And some of these women became fucking millionaires, okay? They were richer than the men who eventually, because they were, you know, they had different, what do they call them? Patrons. That's what they would call them, patrons, you know? Clients. You saw that movie. That's so cool. Agreed. So what's interesting is that a good woman, there's this beautiful, I think she looks Hindustani, but I could be wrong, beautiful black hair, black-eyed woman, gorgeous woman, very classy, very well-spoken, sounds like she's highly educated. I think she's a psychologist. And she talks about the fact that the kind of women they're going to be attracted to rich men, right, are narcissistic women. And then the kind of women that would never do that, you know, they're not out to be hotties. They're not out to get all the attention. They're not high-maintenance women. They are women that are very beautiful in their own right. Don't get me wrong. Gorgeous women. But they're loyal. and they're quiet and they're not a pain in the ass, okay? And rich men don't go for that. So, and rich men get really kind of surprised that they can't find a good woman. It's like, well, you're not going to find a good woman like that. You're going to find a good woman like that in a yoga studio, at a metaphysical bookstore, at a metaphysical fair. You're going to find that good woman in those places, because chicks that want the $1,300 bag don't go there. If they do yoga, it's to keep their bodies together, but they're not going to a metaphysical fair for the most part. You're going to meet women like that in those kinds of places, right? You're going to meet some of these women in Bali in those little retreats, these yoga retreats, or she's getting her yoga certificate. That's but rich men don't do that. They want, the Sports Illustrated model. And so you get what you pay for, literally. So my point is that the problem with some of these twin flame dynamics, because some of these women it's not always a divine feminine that's the go-getter. Don't get it twisted. 30% of my clients are males, clearly because the female's the toxic one, okay? She's the broken one in that way. And she wants X, Y, and Z, right? She wants all the goodies. And she is also under the allure of the illusions of the 3D world. And so, that's happening a lot as well. And there's these awakened men who are also in their own right powerful men who aren't getting seen or valued by their counterpart, by their twin flame. And so they become the chaser, and the girl becomes the runner, and she just wants all the goodies. And in some cases, she has such self-loathing that she doesn't feel worthy of being with her divine masculine counterpart. That's what some rich men look for. Yes. And like Michael Singer is a billionaire. He didn't look for that. I'm not saying all rich men, okay? I'm just saying for the majority, and especially the ones that are who are influencers. There are a lot of, it's funny because I remember certain rich men that I've met when I was a young woman, and there's no way I would have gone for half the bullshit. There's not an amount of money in the world I would have allowed a man to own me like that. So, or anyone to own me like that, because there's a lack of respect. There's an innate sense of you owe me because I'm rich. So there's an arrogance to that. But Michael Singer, if you read his books, The Surrender Experiment, you can tell he doesn't give a shit about the money. The money is like a puppy following him all around. Whatever he does, it's like a Forrest Gump with a high IQ, right? And no matter what he does, he wins because of his consciousness. Does that make sense? So that's what this is about. So there's a lot of things that you guys are doing in the twin flame journey that is going to heal the collective. Because what affects you, right, will affect me at some point, and what affects me will affect you. So when you heal you, you heal me, and when I heal me, I heal you. I kid you not, okay? So that's something that we still don't understand. Right now we're having some wars, as you know, in the Middle East, and this shit is impacting many of you. Many of you are being triggered, and rightly so, and many of you are being hurt by that. So clearly, what affects others affect you. The only people who would say no to that are people who don't have a heart. It's that simple. And at that point, I doubt they're in a twin flame journey, because most twin flames have a heart. Even those who are running, they have a heart, many of them. And they've been wounded so badly that the heart has been shut down. That doesn't mean it's not there. It means it's been put into a lockbox. Okay? So it does make sense. Thank you. Yes, I get you. That's why I said some to clarify. Yeah. Any other questions? I really love this conversation. I think it's really good that many of you are realizing that as you journey into being enough into yourself, and as you become more transcendental in understanding the aspect of what the twin flame journey encompasses, which is so many moving parts, You're healing your family dynamics. You're healing your golden child syndrome. You're healing your scapegoat syndrome, whatever the heck you were given. Some people actually suffer from golden child and scapegoat syndrome, both. And it's, you know, at some point you have to forgive your parents because they can only love you from, you've heard this 100 times, so I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm getting at. And when you're able to overcome that as well, your twin flame comes closer to you. Believe me, there's a point where as you're healing some of your family lineage troubles and pains and sufferings that have been perpetuated in your lineage, which I'm being told by my guides to tell you this, that some of you were ancestors to the lineage you embody to repair damage. Okay? So what that means is that you literally were in this bloodline that you embody today, like 500-600 years ago, and there might have been some harm not handled or harm done, and you've come back to repair it. Once you've done some of that work, right, then at that point, your twin will actually go through a parallel timeline of going through the same type of repairing. It'll look completely different because though you guys share a higher self, your twin is in a completely different bloodline and egoic body. The body of Jim is not the body of Caroline at all. The egoic framework of those two individuals split, right? One soul split into these two bodies in this incarnation are completely not the same. However, that means that if one of you is going through a family lineage clearing and healing, they're probably going to do the same work parallel to you, but it looks completely different. Does that make sense? Have you heard anything about TF archetypes that the twins embody, like devil, angel, protector, etc.? Yeah, but I don't think it's a twin flame thing. I think it's just an archetypal thing. You know what I mean? I think, and this is my humble opinion, Caroline, I think that some of the twin flame creators or writers, rather, are complicating and wrapping everything under the twin flame banner when in fact it's a human archetype. Carl Jung was talking about 150 years ago. These archetypes is something that isn't a twin flame, it's a human thing. It's an anima and animus thing, right? It's a masculine and feminine thing. And so for you as a woman, you may want to read Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes and read that book because those archetypes are there. And a lot of the archetypes are represented in a lot of the fairy tales, Hans Christian Andersen in particular, okay? You may want to check that out. But what I'm noticing, and this is not good, I'm even hearing that 369 is now connected to the twin flame journey. That's not true. Nicholas Tesla came up with 369. He wasn't talking about twin flames, okay, at all. Now, is it related to twin flames? Yes, it's related to any spiritual experience, okay? And so the twin flame journey, is it an experience that is spiritual? Yes, it should be. So is it a twin flame thing? No, it isn't. It's a human experience. Can it assist in the twin flame? Yes. Can these archetypes assist in the twin flame? Yes. But are they a twin flame thing? No, they're not. And I don't know why people are doing that, because that's bullshit. That's like taking something that was written 200 years ago and then suddenly like packing it so that you can sell books. And that's, in my opinion, okay? That doesn't mean I'm correct. What you just said totally makes sense. Thank you. It's painful, the journey, but no way to go through it. No, you have to go through it. That's what I'm saying. Go through it. You have to go through it. Hey, Jillian. And then able to heal others. That's where I'm at. Beautiful. Good for you, Phoenix. Let me see what else. Sorry, for how long have you been live? I don't know. How long have I? Probably an hour. When I made my TF, my world went upside down and has got better. Is that a TF thing? It can be. Especially if it triggers the shit out of you and makes you angry. Sometimes it's for you to like recalibrate yourself so that you become not so fixated with them being punished by karma and realizing that karma is coming. So when I'm in my TF, my world went upside down and his got better. Is that a TF thing? So that's one aspect. Another aspect is your world went upside down. Your journey has more complexity than what this sentence actually encompasses for you to have had your world go upside down. Because sometimes when a person meets their twin flame, their world is already upside down and it's actually improved right off the bat. And then they separate and that's the end of that for a while. So we'd have to look at your situation to see why it went upside down. Thank you. Love that book recommended. Oh, fabulous. Let me see what else. People aren't learning spiritual lineage at all, mostly because they're learning through like TikTok initially. Jillian says, yes, some great creators sharing lineage, but not many. Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, lineage healing is much more than what people think. You know what I mean? They call it a family curse. You know what I'm saying? They'll say your family's cursed. You know what I mean? And then they'll sell you black magic, or they'll sell you candles, and you know they'll do a blood ritual, or it can get crazy. I've had 3 clients. I'm gonna tell you how much they spent on this bullshit. One was $7,000, one was $9,000, and one was $15,000. And the only reason why they stopped paying is they ran out of money. But fear was a factor, and these so-called spiritual people came after their supposed family lineage curses that they were being told was preventing them from being in union with their twin flame. Do you believe that shit? And it's happening, okay? I've been sitting a lot lately with how much of twin flame dynamics are relevant to everyone. It's not, and it's most really. So, yeah. So, it's crazy. The shit is crazy. Wow, that's ridiculous. Falling into dark magic is selling your soul too. Yes, actually, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, you guys, don't ask me to join the live because I need to know who you are, because I only do these lives when I'm divinely guided to do them, and unless I invite someone special. And what I mean by, I'm not saying you're not special, but I'm saying I don't know you and I'm not going to do it. Okay? So, anyway, I'm almost done. Anyway, so any other questions? So be careful. So lineage healing is DNA memory of trauma. It's abuse that's been allowed throughout the construct of the matriarch and patriarchal lines, right? It's secrets of abuse and incest. It's the DNA memory, and I said of trauma, of slavery, of persecution, of, well, I'm not going to list it all, but you get the picture. And it reverberates through the DNA strands, right? It's like a quartz crystal, like you know how you have quartz crystal in a watch, and we have crystals in us, right, in our pineal glands and so forth. So there's like, it's almost like a programming that remembers this shit, and you carry within you. And it's interesting too, because you will literally incarnate with the knowledge that you need to experience certain things. Like, for example, addiction. You know, some people are more prone to addiction than others. And so you would say, okay, I need to feel and to experience the issues of abuse, of shame, of slavery, of addiction from this side. From that side, I need to experience Wicca. In other words, the skill sets of psychics, or the lineage of witches that actually do go into a whole lineage. There are families that definitely have like 5, 6, 7, 8 generations of that dynamic. And then you incarnate into that. and then you work through and untangling bit by bit. It's like a fishing net that's been caught and knotted around the ankles of your maybe your body or someone else's, and then you start unraveling these things or burning it straight out, going, fuck it, I'm burning the whole thing down. Everyone's different. Their approach is different to healing all that. And ultimately, what happens for many of you is that that's actually what you're healing. And it's quite courageous work. You know what I mean? The way you capped me out when you said Wicca, lol. Yeah, he's not funny. He's my little, my little familiar. 20 months sober here. Congratulations. Yes, it's transferring my lineage goes way far from the stars, eons, wars. Name your favorite Lady Gaga song. Please. You couldn't pay me to listen to her music. I feel like I cleared all the trauma 2 weeks ago, like I actually closed the loop. Congratulations. Alchemist, working on knowing dark and the deepest shades of it. Why would you want to know the dark and the deepest shades of it when you've actually experienced that many, many times? Don't you think we've all experienced that? Ask yourself, how old is your soul? You don't think you've been in the dark of it? Most of us have been in the dark of it. If you want to loop back to that, that's definitely your business. But why would you want to make that your choice? Because I have to be light, low. No, you don't. See, that's the bullshit you've been sold, and that's not how it works. If you want to go to the abyss and learn how to co-create magic from the abyss, that's one thing. If you're going to go into the dark, see, there's the difference between the abyss and the dark. If you're going to go into the dark shadows of humanity, then you're kind of regressing. Maybe choosing to heal from the thing that still affect you. Yeah, sure. You can see the light without darkness on 3D here. You can see the light without darkness on 3D here, not up here. I don't know what you mean, actually, to be honest. But all I know is this, that the light is a frequency of keeping your monkey mind from going into negative places and allowing your monkey mind to be trained by your soul, and that your monkey mind in this incarnation, because it wasn't the same monkey mind in other incarnations, every time you incarnate was a different egoic framework, a different gender, a different family lineage of darkness or shame or secrets. And so, honestly, the reason why we're going through the ascension is to once and for all take a sledgehammer to our monkey minds, learn how to control the monkey mind, and move into a place of ascending high-frequency light, and not to collapse into regression once again. Because that's how this realm works. Polarity, do you see wars, fear, jealousy around us here in the... Sweetie, you're playing in the 1970s paradigm. You need to stop. It's your choice. If you want to be in the world of Mad Max, you're welcome to it. But you have a choice. And if you've sold yourself into thinking that that's what you need to do, then who am I to tell you you're wrong? If that's your journey, my friend, let it be your journey. But I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to play that, because we've already done that for fucking 10,000 years. And I think we're done. And if you want to really believe that's polarity and that's acceptable, then you're not getting what the ascension is. There's still polarity in, we still fuck up as starseeds. We still fuck up in 5D, 6D, believe it or not. But wars are not part of that fuck up. It's not part of the fuckery. Wars are no longer there. Incest is no longer there. We have much more important issues. Like, for example, understanding how to learn from the group. Understanding how to get to higher levels of spiritual consciousness. How to realize that sometimes there's a time to be a lone wolf and there's a time to be part of the collective group. Things of that nature. And unfortunately, wars block that energy. And wars are not part of the ascension for many of us. But for many of you, I guess it will be. And anybody that's using warrior, right? War, and not shamanic warrior, not love warrior, is still playing into the same old toxic loop. And everyone has their choice. So that's what I see. Lowell, native shamanism from lineage, medicine woman, and new age, all lovey-dovey is dangerous and blinding. I didn't talk about lovey-dovey, my friend. You're not getting it. You're not getting it, my friend, at all. Lovey-dovey is sitting like an asshole as a victim. I'm neither. Real shamanism is watching monks put wet soaking blankets in the snow and oming and meditating until steam and the blankets are completely dry and steam. That's true power, my friend. That's levitation power. That's parting the Red Sea. That's that. And to think that's lovey-dovey, you guys are not shamans. I'm sorry, that's not shamanism. To think that you have to take a sword and shield, that's not the way anymore. And that's why we're seeing these monks coming out of the Himalayas, and we're being shown that across the world, and we're still playing the old Norse, Viking, let's go pillage, and do that work. That didn't bring us far, okay? It brought us into the dark ages, okay? So I'm not talking about lovey-dovey. I'm talking about, I don't want to work hard. I want to work smart. That means that if I can actually open my third eye to move the wind, to bring in rain, to literally do what a lot of people think what Moses did was like, it was a parable. It was just a parable. Really? Really? No, I don't think so. Because I've seen some magical shit happen from people who are very powerful. And I don't want to use a sword and shield. I've been a warrior. I've kicked ass and I've done shit that I don't want to do anymore. And I know there's a better way. And if some people want to live in the Mad Max planet, let them have it. Monks are not shamans. Sweetie pie, monks are shamans. And I'll tell you why. Because monks can actually open their DMT without plant medicine. And shamans have their own value. But monks, the kind of monks I'm talking about, can actually go into altered states that for some shamans can only be done through altered states using medicines. They don't have to. That's so, let's let some of these words that we're using need to be specific, but sometimes they need to be also flexible. Okay? Then you don't know nothing about shamanism. Okay, enjoy. I know. So Buddhism. No, I didn't say Buddhism in that way. I said that in their case, Tibetan Buddhism is part of that. But there's more to that than just Buddhism. And it's not just Buddhism. No, that's a lie. We don't have to use plant medicines. Okay. Well, I just said that these monks don't either. It's funny, you guys want to fight. That's really what you want to do. And you want to come in and fight. Why don't you actually do your own life right now and teach something that you believe in, rather than just stepping into another live and talking about how you want to fight and have wars, and that's the polarity. I don't want to hear that bullshit, to be honest with you, on my live. So if you want, you can keep going. You're putting your ego where there's none. Okay, well, can you just, let's go. Let's move on before I block you. I actually would like you to have access to my content, but if you're going to be rude, it's like you coming to my dinner table and insulting me. Or we can block. Jen, feel free, because I'm done. I'm not here to have a war with 3D people. Diane, drink some Chardonnay and get out. Okay. Yeah. Our ways has nothing to do with Buddhism beliefs. Yeah, dude, stop. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Just move on. Okay? Just move on. Dinah of Warrior of the Most High. Warrior of the Most High. Wow. How did you... Anyway, I can't. I'm laughing. Yeah, we're done. All right. My TF went through child... Shield. How can I help with... Heal that? Child trauma. How can I help him heal that? Warrior of the Most High on SSRI. Anyway, stop. Okay, stop it. Stop it, Feeling Studio. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you, Jen, for blocking these people. They're such a, sorry. Don't give haters any of your energy. No, I don't mean, it's not energy. I want to make sure that they understand that there's levels of stupidity that I won't, and I want to address it because I want to know how stupid they sound, how foolish they sound. It's crazy. You can't. These are Mad Max people. They want to live in the Mad Max world. Clearly, they want to wear pelts and fight for gasoline and scour for, it's the apocalyptic consciousness of certain people. And I'm glad they came in, and I'm glad you blocked them, guys, because in a way, you get to see the contrast of supposed spiritual toxic people who are supposedly New Age, and they give the New Age, which is a joke because it's not New Age, it's ancient, it's older than any religion on the planet, is ancient wisdom. And you got to see an example of the spirituals community's toxic outlanders, and now you can understand. Well, you always understood it, obviously, but you can see that they will enforce their agendas and bully. Because the minute you have a bullying energy on someone, it's like at that point you've lost my interest. You know what I mean? We're a tight fam here. Exactly, we are family. Ignorance is everywhere. Hi, Tony. Good to hear from you. How are you? It's okay to debate, but when someone is closed off and shut down, why do they just not call it a quit? Yeah, so disrespectful to you. Well, I mean, I'm not believe me, for me to be disrespected, I'd have to give a shit about them. The only people that disrespect me that can is my son, my twin, a very dear friend. Those people can disrespect me. Those people are just assholes, and they can move on. I feel no disrespect. So thank you. So true. Exactly. So I just was, giving them the opportunity. Yep, we can choose. And someone Grand Theft Auto or other Animal Crossing. I don't know what that totally means, but I get the sense of it. Tony, it's Jennifer from The Realtor. How can you track my person? It's another, I'd have to tell you some other time. Facts. So what's interesting about debating, you don't debate. That's not a debate. It was never going to be a debate. So anyway, what's beautiful is that those of you that are here still, and you didn't leave, and I'm not saying that to say that, okay? I'm not saying, oh, now you're the chosen one. That's not what but I am going to say that you guys definitely want the new earth, right? You want the new earth, which Eckhart Tolle writes about, right? And Dolores Cannon writes about, and ancient scriptures are written about, right? From the Sumerian tablets, I believe I'm correct. If not, please correct me. I have no problem being wrong. I mean, I fuck up all the time. But for the most part, I know for a fact that our trajectory is going to be based on our consciousness and what we feel we deserve. And if we feel we deserve the Mad Max apocalyptic consciousness, then unfortunately, that's what we're going to get. And if we feel like we deserve love and a balanced uniform of give and take, a balanced give and take, and bartering and love, and yeah, we're still going to have issues. We're going to still have jealousy. We're going to still have some certain things, but we're going to come from a higher perspective, more transcendental, more self-awareness, more levels of knowing what our spiritual lessons need to be, more in surrendering, more trusting source, more being kind to each other, more trying to, there's a saying, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's a South African saying called Ubuntu. Ubuntu, yes, manifestation. And Ubuntu means this: if one person is hurting, the whole village surrounds that person until they're right. That's high level consciousness. The world is giving me anxiety. Yeah, well, the world, the planet is beautiful. It's a lot of the infrastructure and the leaders that are the problem. We're not the problem, but a lot of us are seeing an infrastructure and a system that is broken and toxic and has always been. Look at Robin Hood. Look at the movie Robin Hood. I mean, it's not a true story, but it's certainly based on true aspects, right? Taxing the poor, overtaxing them. Look at Braveheart. Look at the droit du Seigneur, which was when the British, and this was not just going on in Britain, it was going on in France, it was a serfdom system where the droit du Seigneur meant the right of the Lord. And if the Lord owned some plot of land with his serfs, he would have first rights to the marriage bed of a woman. So her husband didn't have first right. The Lord had first right. And quite often the firstborn was not the child of the father, the husband, but of the Lord. Okay, so we've had these really toxic infrastructures for centuries, and now we've been given the opportunity to be like philosopher kings and queens, where we have the ability to awaken ourselves, philosophize with each other, and come up with answers to how to come out of this matrix. And it's not lovey-dovey. It's a different type of shamanic journey. It's druidic. We've had it before. Actually, we've had it in little pockets throughout the world for centuries. The Druids had it. The Native Americans had it. Little pockets, all across the world. There were little pockets of villages or communities that had this beautiful infrastructure. And so we've lived it. So it's been around throughout the centuries, but now we're able to do it across the board. And there is a split. There's a physical split. Even David Icke talks about it, who I've been following for years, who talks about the split between the 3D planet and the 5D planet, and the infrastructures that are collapsing and into the Mad Max, which apparently some people want to be in the apocalyptic world, and they're welcome to have it. It's their free will. So that's what's happening. Okay. Let me look. I found $100 in the washer, so I know my manifestations are working. Bravo. Fuck yeah. Good for you. Queen of Crow says, I've been saying, why do we go back and kill bad people when they are babies instead of taking the baby? Yeah. Never know when redemption will come for someone. Blue Zones now joined. Butterfly joined. Yes, I feel like the earth is splitting. Yes. And I feel like many of us need to do the 369 journaling so that we can manifest. Also, one of the things, because I'm older than many of you guys, is sometimes I manifest in my meditation the world that my son's going to live in. Okay, that's my way of co-creating that beautiful 5D planet. So I'm not looking at, in other words, I'm not saying I'm not going to be in it, but for me personally, it's easier for me to see my son living a life with his wife, and she's pregnant, and they have another baby already, a toddler, and the world is what that 5D is. That's my way of creating that. There's an old saying that a wise, loving person plants trees, fruit trees they know they will never see bear fruit. Well, what's funny is that at some point I could come back in 5D. So whatever I plant today, and this goes with you guys, whatever you guys plant today, you may not enjoy the fruits of that labor in this incarnation, but you may return when it's 5D and enjoy the fruits of that labor. I've been trying to channel my spirit guide. I've seen her once, Archangel. She was so beautiful. Beautiful. Good for you. Anushka, how are you? Tony joined. Hi, Tony. I planted my seed on the harvest moon night. Good for you. So that's what this is all about, okay? So at this point, I think it's the 28th of October. So depending on where you guys are in your parts of the world, you want to make sure, what is that doing this? You want to make sure that you, at least now, okay, I'm going to do that tonight before I go to sleep, is go and start working on your journal. Come up with 3 things that you want to experience as if it's happening now. Say that you're grateful as if you have it now, and write it up in your journal 3 times a day for until the 29th or 30th. Okay, 3 days away now for me. Yeah, cool. And I'm going to do it too, because I did it for 9 days, right up to the eclipse, and now I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to keep doing it again and again. And the other thing that you want to do is Om Shri Mriam Kleem Lakshmi Swaha 108 times for 45 days for money. Because when you go through these massive depressions and dark night of the soul and separation from your twin, it will mess up your money. Not all of you, but many of you, you might get impacted by your money if the despair lasts more than 6 months. I've noticed that to be true. Okay? So Lakshmi was in my washing machine. She sure in the hell was, and she's still waving at you. You God knows. Lakshmi's my girl. So any questions? I'm going to retire. 39 in the house. Thank you so much, 39 in the house. All of you guys are a lot of you are my family. Many of you are my family. And hopefully I am yours. Any questions? Blessings been pouring in this eclipse season. Yeah, Jillian. Well, you've been doing a lot of heavy lifting. You've been doing a lot. Again, follow Jillian. She's got some pretty awesome videos about her art, her process, her creativity, her musings. She's a vlogger. She's amazing. You may want to follow her as well. Give her a follow. Jen also has videos that you may... Jen, she's got butterflies. You'll see her right there. I released, I'm telling you, good. Frankie Tarot, follow the life creator. Thank you. Thank you. I like your voice. Well, thank you. Just watch episode 1, Twin Flame. Yeah. Watch my, did you see my review, Queen of Crows, on the Twin Flame universe? Did you watch my videos on that? To give you feedback. This is why it's so dangerous what's happening right now. And we need to call the pink elephant in the room for what it is. I think I clearly shows Twin Flames are real, just not the way he talks. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome too. Yeah, Frankie Tarot. I feel all starseeds have a calming voice. Oh, it could be. It depends, I guess. I really connect to the Pleiadians. You're from London because you got the London voice. Do I really? Because some people think I'm from New York. I lived in London. Actually, you know, it's funny. I'm going to tell you something, Rita. I taught myself how to read English in London when I was about... How old was I? I think I was 9 years old. Yes, the review on Twin Flame Universe, so true. Exactly, right? They lied about Twin Flames. Yes, I agree. She needed to show more Twin Flame readers. Yes, she didn't do that. She's a 3D journalist. She's a 3D journalist. And if Vanity Fair was really doing its job, it would have a second article with real good Twin Flame situations. Okay? But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because they have an agenda. No, you don't have a London voice. I know. Whatever. Yes, she do. Okay. They make us look like crazy people listing over life. Yes, she has no spirit belief. Night, night. Oh, good night, Jillian. Thanks again for coming in and sharing your success. It's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. And you deserve it. Jillian does a lot of spiritual work. And she's a wonderful artist. That sweatshirt, I have to ask you how much. I can only get information from who my guides gives me intuition to go to. So, well, that's good. Why in the hell is this doing this? I have a washing machine literally jumping up and down. Anyway. Yeah. But along the way of becoming spiritually aligned with yourself and so forth, you will actually cut people out, lose people, and move into meeting your true tribe. Do you talk to spirit all the time? Of course, we all do. Except the difference between me and you is I talk to them as if they're as I talk to you, because I'm comfortable with it. But I think though they show real twin flames just when I start demanding, they find love and can't be. I don't know how many of those people on that show were twin flames, to be honest. I really don't think any of them were, including the two hosts. I really don't. The two shysters. I think trying to think of who might have been a twin flame. Yeah, I don't recognize anyone there. You know, happy without them. So honestly, I wasn't impressed by what I saw. I was very disappointed that they showed this through a very negative lens, and that was the only lens that they showed. Okay, 222 my time, beautiful. That's 6. That's Venus. That's the number of love, and that's from the planet Venus. And that's a beautiful message. Thank you very much, Frankie. 1, 2, 3 for my time. 1, 2, 3 is 6 again. So meaning my TF does affect my finances because I hit hard financially ever since I met him. Yeah, it's because your chakras, your root chakras, all your chakras got blown out. And so you need to be working out on your chakras. Okay, so if I were you, I would go right to my chakra video, which is under Sex Magic. Scroll all the way down. You'll see black people with white hair. You'll see them. Go ahead, listen to my chakra work. If not, go right into my guided meditations under Ho'oponopono, which really triggers a lot of fucking people. I don't know why. I do know why, and it's bullshit. But do that one, and it will work on your chakras. You need to work on your chakras. Dark forces trying to keep twin flames apart. Absolutely, Anushka. Dark forces are, because once twin flames are in support of each other and walk together, then you have a force as powerful. Each twin, I've just been shown that it has the power of a nuclear bomb. They just showed me that for whatever reason. And so imagine 144,000 twin flames in permanent union. That's some power. Not 144,000 going in and out of union, separation. New twin flames are brought in. Old twin flames are brought in. Then there's a separation. New twin flame. It's a revolving door, but it's a perpetual 144. But imagine solid 144 times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6, times 7, times 10. Wow. Okay? That would be incredible. And every blue moon we'll hear the story of these elderly people living in hospice care or retirement care. And you'll hear of the husband dying first. I'm giving you, but it's a true story. I think it was the husband who died first, and literally 3 hours later, the wife died after. Totally different hospitals, which is evil in my opinion. They should have been together, but you know. And yeah, twin flames, or twin rays rather. And the reason why we hear those stories toward the ends of their lives is to show it's a message to us, to show us the spiritual alignment. So if your twin flame dies, because ask Jen or ask Tony. In the summer of this year, I was doing lives every day. Every other life for 90 days, we had a twin flame saying, my twin died through self-harm, disease, or accident. And these men, it was mostly men, actually it was all men, that were dying, were all under 35. And it was happening every other life for the 90 days of this year's summer. It was unfucking real. So when you've got people calling them coaches, you've just saw Twin Flame Universe, you know, these bastards calling themselves coaches, who are coaching people to block their twin and to run away from their twin. When a twin and you are still under the same roof, or are still being brought together again and again and again, it's because there's unfinished business. Finish your business. No one's asking you to marry your twin. No one's asking you to be a welcome mat. But there are things you're not learning and things that your twin is still not learning. And the main attraction here is let's get you to learn the lessons so that you can disengage from that, release it if that's what you need to do, because your twin is so hell-bent on losing. And believe me, that's part of the free will double-edged sword whammy. And then once you've done your lessons with your twin and your twin just can't seem to disengage from 3D matrix, you ascend and another beloved will be brought to you. Some of you have more than one twin. I know that's hard to wrap your head around, but if you can believe that we have concurrent incarnations, then it should be hard for you to believe that there's another twin for some of you, because if your twin is having a concurrent incarnation, that would be another twin, right? And for some people, it's really hard for them to wrap their head around because they're thinking 3D logic. And what is 3D logic if not something that is something you can't trust? Because what was logical 100 years ago, we find is stupid and illogical. So the society's mores of its time equals 3D logic. And society mores cannot be trusted because they move with society as it changes. So when you're going through an active progression, ascension, you're going to be outside in advance of the society's mores, the current mores of society, which means you're going to be above that, not because you're a chosen one. That's an egoic framework. Again, more bullshit. And you're going to actually go through a process of being alone and feeling like no one understands you and feeling like you're going crazy, which you're not. And you're going to be able to then attract your frequency match, which may not be your twin in this incarnation, but a high-level soulmate or a light, higher-level twin. Okay? So there's a lot of moving parts here. Also, I've had these wonderful conversations with Jen, who's actually one of the moderators here. And I've been so honored to meet her and Tony, about walk-ins. And that's something else you may want to look at, understanding what are walk-ins. So I'm going to invite you all to look into walk-ins because one of the things we're going to be talking about, yay, Jen, is walk-ins. Because Jen's been studying about walk-ins, and walk-ins has been talked about for centuries, and walk-ins is not a weird thing. As a matter of fact, I remember, and I'm just going to be blunt with you guys. I'm going to share something real quick. Let me read what Queen of Crows said. We are all one anyway, so yes, multiples. The universe wants us to be happy and needs us to. Exactly. Walk-ins are amazing. So I remember my mom telling me multiple times that she had wanted to commit suicide. She was 21, she was 22, she had me at 23. And I remember at the age of 5 years old, thinking that somebody had taken my mother. Because the woman who was my mother when I was born, when I was 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, I didn't recognize her as my mother at 5, and yet I adored my mother. So at the age of 5, I knew somebody had stolen my mother. And I don't mean her physically, I mean her soul. And that something else had been replaced. See, that would have been a walk-in. Does that make sense? It does make sense. But at the age of 5, how could I know? Because no one, believe me, where I was born in France and living in Switzerland and so forth, and I remember I lived in Switzerland when I came across this idea that somebody had stolen my mom and somebody else had replaced my mom, meaning her soul. And I knew that. So it's very possible that she didn't want to be here anymore. She did not want to do this life anymore. And there was a walk-in. And it could have been a walk-in for a little time where she rested. I'm not kidding. So this sounds very woo-hoo, but it's not something. In fact, there are movies. In fact, the movie I always recommend to people is Heaven Can Wait. And Heaven Can Wait was a remake. It was made in 1976, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there. And it was a remake from a movie, and they were doing a lot of walk-in movies, by the way, in the 1940s. I used to watch them all the time when I used to come to this country. So walk-ins is something you need to think about as well. Okay? I've heard about walk-ins too. Hi, viewing for the first time. Hey, Veronica, good to see you. Yes, they have those on Supernatural, Empty Vessel, or those that want to leave do. Yes. And so there are certain books that I give my clients all my clients get homework when they do readings for me, all of them. Hi. Anyway, I did it again. So I'm gonna share with you this book. So I don't know if you noticed, but I went dark because my phone went dead. This is the second time I've done this. And where it just blurred out. Anyway, what else? I missed some great things here with Power, but I've only seen one episode. So I'm back, and I'm going to just use this book that happens to be here. Let me see. Nice. More like attracts. Yeah. So, okay. So anyway, walk-ins. So we're going to go into walk-ins. So I'm going to be doing a podcast with Jen, and we're going to just kick the bucket and just go all out on walk-ins. We're going to just do that. So hopefully that's going to bring some more food for thought into that. By the way, this book was written by Marguerite Rigoglioni. And this is called Virgin Mother, Goddesses of Antiquity. There's a term, hang on, let me see if I can find that term. And it's a term about the divine conception, right? And it's a concept that talks about how Mary of Magdalena and Mother Mary were all high priestesses who had learned, I'm trying to find the term here, hang on, who had learned the art of divine conception. There's a term for it, though. So let me know, don't want to miss it. I'm going to announce it. When we do that, I'm going to announce it on TikTok. I'll make sure that I have an announcement. But let me do this. Let me see if I can do it like this. Because you see how my setup here? That's my setup. That's my sage. That's my life, right? See all these sage little candles. Okay, let me put it like this. I'm going to do a reading. What the hell? Let's do it. Let's do a reading. So go ahead, and then I'm going to go. Because this one I'm not going to upload because we've been over 2 hours and I won't be uploading this. I won't be able to anyway. But let me go ahead and here, let's do it like this. And I'm shuffling, guys. I am shuffling. And I wish I had a tripod right now. But this is the deck I'm shuffling from. Let me show you. And you can see it's all like faded, unfortunately. So let me get the damn book out. Here, there. The Mystic of Magdalena. And the Cheryl Yombrook Rose is the author, creator, artist. And she splits her time between, Mount Shasta and Avalon, which is also known as Glastonbury in the UK. So when you're ready, I want you to just tell me to stop. And how many people tell me to stop, you're going to ask for the message. One message for yourself, and then you guys are going to pick from the bottom, middle, or top. And if I can see that there's more people going for the top, I'll pick from the top, middle, or whatever. Okay, middle, top, or bottom. All right, let's do it. Stop. Middle, top, or bottom. Middle. Yeah, I got the stop, but middle, top, or bottom? Top. Middle, top, or bottom? Okay, I'm going with the top. Okay, here we go. And unfortunately, I say, so this Magdalena Meditating Retreat, 35? Hang on, am I looking at this number? Can't bloody see it. Yeah, 35, okay. 35, just so you guys know, is karma. It's actually paying karma. So I'm going to read the card, and I want you guys to listen to it with your body as well. So close your eyes if you don't mind. 35, Magdalena Meditating Retreat. It is not time to approach and intrude on someone's privacy. Give them space. Forward motion is not recommended. Wait. Be patient, and things will turn out well. Talk about the perfect message for Twin Flames. Mary of Magdalena liked to venture out into the wilderness to meditate alone. Wolves and other forest creatures would guard her on her vulnerable state of deep concentration. Hang on, I'm trying to read this in the dark. And protect her from inquisitive intruders. In her trance state, she was able to rise into the higher vibrational fields of etheric planes and meet with Yeshua. In this way, her knowledge and teachings for her disciples would increase and expand. The Gnostic Gospel tell of a man who followed Mary into the wilderness to see what she did there. A pack of wolves surrounded her. Hang on. A pack of wolves surrounded her and surrounded him, staring at him silently. When Mary appeared, she rebuked the disciple for disturbing her without having been invited. She was often called the mistress of the forest because she could commune with wild creatures, and they were honored to protect her from harm. She commuted with the spirits of all living things and the earth and the earthy mother herself, as personified by Sophia, Shekinah, and Gaia. And also, Mother Earth is known as Pachamama, Bhumi, and Gaia. As guardians, animals have highly developed sense that recognize the different vibrations and intentions emanating from human beings. You can reach deeper levels of consciousness when you feel protected by animal allies. It's interesting. That's a hell of a reading. I don't know. Because it's saying wait. So the message is wait. It's saying trust and wait, right? So you want to kind of like understand that right now it's time for you to go into your beautiful heart chakra, to co-create with les loups, très jolis, absolument. The wolves in French is loup. Anyway, so what you're being asked to do is to take your time in co-creating what you want and move forward. Okay? With that. Is that me? I'm liking my own life? That's weird. Anyway, so does that make sense? So, okay, so what else did I want to tell you that's important? Trust the silence of your separation. Trust the wisdom of the separation. Trust all the things you need to do during the separation. Trust that you're not being punished during the separation. You know what I mean? Trust that. Trust that no matter what happens, when the timing is right for all concerned, right? You're going to be in the right place at the right time. Okay? And that your twin will move into your circle. And that you're not being punished. You're being divinely escorted to other things while your twin goes through what they need to go through. Be still and be patient. That's what I keep hearing. Yes, this resonates with me deeply. Yes, makes sense. Yes, good. I'm glad. Because I had to get there. And I was angry. And I was impatient. And I can't tell you how the level of patience. And sometimes do I lose my shit? Yeah, I'm still having the human experience. But I repair it almost damn near immediately. An hour doesn't go by before I repair it. Let me put it that way. So that was the message of Maria Magdalena. Okay? And ultimately, what you want to do is give yourself space to understand why you're being hurt, why it feels lonely, and what is being brought up to you. You know what I mean? What's being brought up to you. In other words, what's emerging from being ignored. He's been chasing me avidly for 4 months. It's me now who's retreating in healing and growth. I get you. But while he's chasing you avidly, what you may want to do is throw him some bones of knowledge. Read this book. Here's that link. I'm not ready yet. I don't want to do this yet. I'm not there yet. I don't trust you. Hell, I don't trust me in my woods. I get you. So that's going to be the journey that you have to undertake. Because if you undertake this journey for the puppy love, the love of a twin flame, the passion, the sexual union, before it's ready to be brought forth, then that's why you're going to keep having runner-chaser looping dynamics. You know what I mean? I just thought of a book that was probably, I love that book. Believe it or not, I used to read it with my husband a couple times. It was a book on tapes called Lady Chatterley's Lover. You should read the book. Don't watch these. There's different versions made in movies, but get the book, Lady Chatterley's Lover, which was written, which was banned, and I'm not kidding. And you may want to listen to the one version narrated by Judi Dench. Incredible version of it. Beautiful. But if you look at the book, Lady Chatterley's Lover, you could say that's a twin flame journey. Absolutely. I told him I don't trust him. Do the work. Watch the new one. It's very good. Both are. So, Wuthering Heights, Lady Chatterley's Lover, The Odyssey. What else? Jesus, I can't even come up with all of them. It goes on and on and on. There's so many books written about the twin flame journey. It's staggering. Staggering. Or high-level soulmates, and the complexity of those human experience. And for the first time ever, all of us have gotten this opportunity to be like Plato's and Socrates. And Socrates, that's a bad idea because he committed to it, but you know what I'm saying. Plato. To actually wake up and be philosophers of ourselves. We haven't had this opportunity in thousands of years. We regressed, sadly. And when we came into 3D, we fell. We had to come here. Because you can't be 7D and be in 3D. It's not going to work. It's like a cork that you're trying to sink into the water and it keeps bobbing up. It keeps bobbing up. It keeps bobbing up. You can't. And so that's what happened. It is a twin flame journey. Heathcliff is my Gemini. Far from maddening crowd. Yes. Is that a book? Far from maddening crowd? Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you, Anushka. So there's so many stories that have been written that showed us what was the romantic, sexual connection that we had with each other throughout incarnations. And the separations that happened, like if you look at Wuthering Heights, one of my favorite all-time stories, actually. I mean, tragic as fuck too, and to me, even more powerful, to be honest, in my humble opinion, than Romeo and Juliet, because their egos, they're so egoically entrenched in their own individual pain that at some point, when they breach it, it's too late. These are all, stories. Exactly. Jane Eyre talked, Jane Eyre was a damn good story about that too, I come to think of it. But the other story I'm thinking about is Jane Austen in the book Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice. That's a twin flame journey. Thank you. Good night. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Is that if you can kind of like understand that everything you're going through is an opportunity for major ascension steps, and that the twin flame journey brought you to the threshold of your own awakening, and it would have never happened unless that golden carrot was on the stick. You would have never done it for anyone else, no one else. And there's no shame in that. And if you can embrace that truth, then in this life or the next, you surrender to the twin flame union because you trust the universe implicitly. Okay? And I think that's really what all of you need to do individually, is you have become your own Plato. And that's a hell of a gift, because we have been serfs, foot soldiers, farmers, victims of certain infrastructures, and we didn't have time to be philosophical. And now we do. Many of us are working. I've been a working person for years, decades, okay? And I was meditating every day. And I was chanting mantras. My first mantra was given to me when I was 18 years old from my twin. And I was able to co-create a path that gave me a lot more freedom and more to come. You know what I'm saying? So you can work a 9 to 5 and still be on the spiritual journey. And there are people out there who don't want you to ascend, who are saying things like, wake up, you can't have a spiritual journey and, work and make money and pay your bills. You better, if you're on 9 to 5, because if you want to get out of the 9 to 5 grind, you better be spiritual. You better learn how to manifest. You better meditate. You better work on your chakras. You better sage. You better do it every day. Because if you don't, you'll be in the grind until your last breath. And that's why they don't want you to do it. Meditation is dangerous things. Monks prepare for that for years. And you are awake. Oh, bloody hell, my friend. Jen, are you here? It's hard working and be spiritual. It's actually not. It's actually not. Because if you're spiritual, meaning if you meditate every day and you work, I've worked very hard. In fact, I worked 6 days a week, 12-hour days. And I was meditating sometimes twice a day. I would go on, you know what I mean, Jen? And I would meditate twice a day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, because I didn't want to do that job anymore. So that's what I mean by it's dangerous if you don't. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck. Hey, I am awake. Why don't you go to sleep, okay? Because I've had it with you, okay? So let's call it a day with you and move on, okay? All right. Yeah, I just wanted him blocked. I am awake. Thank you. Anyway, try waking meditations while doing dish. Be present 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Exactly. So, but don't waste your breath on this guy. This guy just wants to. You've got a lot of assholes that are going to try to throw you off your track so that you don't win. And you're trapped in the looping matrix of these cycles. Okay? There are a lot of people who are saying some crazy stuff to keep you off your ascension path. And so every single one of you that starts fully awakened and trusting your awakened new self-consciousness is dangerous. Because you're powerful, because you're a light that shines across the planet. It's a spark of power. And the powers that be like it for not to be awake because they've been doing it for, over 10,000 years. That's why, Atlantis fell. There were a group of people, a nice fat group of people who really didn't want what we wanted, which was this beautiful, balanced, give and take society that had to kind of tweak their ego to heal that, but then they added more stuff to put us in these, golden cages, if you will, of consciousness, right? So be careful, because there are things now being promoted as good that are bad, and bad things promoted as good. And it's done purposely. I was in Atlantis. The fall was bad. Yep. Many of us were in Atlantis. Many of us could have stopped it. Many of us might have actually been part of the problem. Let's be honest. We weren't all, choir boys and girls. My sister said, I liked it when you believed in science. I said, double slot experiment, it is science. Yeah, that's true. It is science. It's quantum physics. So there's quantum understanding, and she's not getting it. And she wants you to be who you were, and you can't. It's the old saying, you can't unsee what you see. So ultimately, what I want you guys to kind of get to a point is that you have to self-honor your downloads. Thank you for the rose, Anushka. And you have to move out of this feeling of wanting to belong and being afraid of leaving behind people in the ascension. And also feeling as if you're abandoning people during your ascension. You can't. You're better off climbing the Himalayan mountains to your awakening and ascension, and throwing ladders and ropes down to those who are still in the trenches of their own egoic framework, than to be in the mud with them. You understand? So it's not selfish. It's kind of like the old thing. Remember on the plane they say, give the oxygen to you first and then your child? Yeah, because if you pass out, you can't help your child. So you need to make sure that you are spiritually choosing yourself for the good of all, for this particular part of your ascension journey. I had a vivid download during my meditation last night, but it was also a most magical time. We were very naive back then and got intervened with. I'm not sure what you mean by we were very naive. We weren't that naive, Charlotte. I'm not kidding. Tenver, I only invite people on my lives that I know, and I don't invite people who I don't know. And so it's nothing personal. No, I know you're talking about Atlantis. We weren't naive, actually, at all. We were not naive. I'm not kidding. We there were way too many people who did some pretty nefarious shit, and we also knew what was happening, but we didn't believe that they would actually I think we believed that we had a lot more time than we had on our hands. It's kind of like Pompeii, like, getting the boats in order and like seeing it explode and going, oh shit, I think we should have left sooner than later. And it's too late now because all the boats are gone out of the harbor. It happened in Pompeii. People just didn't. Okay, I'm just going to do that. In terms of how we use our power. Yeah, but you're saying naive, and that's the wrong word. No offense, okay? Naive means you don't know shit. No, we knew our power, all of us. We weren't stupid. We were highly evolved souls. We are highly evolved souls. The concept of regression, which we regressed, was after that. During that time, we were going into 5D, 6D consciousness, and we've always had problems with the ego. Don't think this is something that we just have in the human experience. We have it on other planets as starseeds. We have egoic issues. But it usually doesn't turn this violent or this nefarious. In Atlantis, they were actually playing with genetics, DNA, and they were using powers, crystal powers, psychic powers, all kinds of powers. Genetic manipulation, to just see what the hell they could create. And it was all about doing that. And so, and there's always been, sadly, throughout our human history, sacrifices. And I think you know what I'm referring to. It goes back beyond even in that, and they started doing that as well. So that's why it slipped into our world after Atlantis fell. It was really strange, And at that point, we became naive. When we regress, at that point, we regressed to, we lost 9 chakras, somatic chakras. We went down to 7. And then we went from 5D, 6D to 3D. But that kind of DNA manipulation created a lot of karma for us. That's what I meant to say. I got you. Also, Charlotte, we're still doing it. There are people still doing that whole BS. I'm going to point to this book again, Virgin Mother, Goddess of Antiquity. She's written 3 books on this concept, just so you know. So I'm going to give you that. It's a hell of a great book. Anyway, so does that make sense? So you're going to hear 440 hertz is good for meditation when it's not. You're going to have people trying to control your power. When you meditate, don't confuse guided meditation with meditation. If you're doing one of my guided meditations, that is something you do, but that doesn't preclude you doing your meditation. You're silent, you, doing your meditation with you, right? Okay? When you do a guided meditation, that's one thing. That doesn't mean you've meditated for the day. It means you did a guided meditation. Okay? Be clear on that, okay? Guided meditations are good because they have certain purposes. right? Do you believe we're all meant to come into union and be with TF eventually if we do the inner work? No, not if we do it with that purpose. If we do the inner work in this life or the next, you will be in union. But if you do it, because see, I get a lot of clients that say that, if I do X, Y, and Z, will I be in union with my twin? No, not necessarily, because your twin has free will. And if their free will is hell-bent on losing, you're not going far. If your twin flame is hell-bent on being in 3D, you're not going to be in union. Because as you do your progression, your ascension, and your twin's still in 3D and you're in 5D, yeah, that's not going to work. That's like dating a fifth grader and you're getting your master's. It's not going to work. Does that make sense? So don't do it to be in union. Do it because it's necessary. And union is the cherry on the cake. Are you supposed to be in union because you've incarnated together at the same timeline? Yes. See, that's what's frustrating for these spirits on the other side. And yeah, they get frustrated because we should have been able to do this time, because we have all the information at our fingertips and we still choose to be ignorant, some of our 3D twins. And so that's the issue. And if their free will is to lose, and our free will is not to educate our twin, and our free will is to say, well, she, they're going to have to just, heal themselves, and when they get their head together, then we'll be in union. No, that's not how it works. That's why I did some videos on that, so you guys can check it out. I agree, many of us were using crystal technology to try and stop the fall, but sadly it wasn't enough. I think we didn't even do that. I think there's a lot of things we didn't do. Do it for love. Thank you, Venus. Shoulda. He's not as awake as me. I feel like he's very aware of the connection, but he's doubting it, Spirit says. Yeah, no kidding. Well, that's the problem. No heart coherence because he's not meditating. He needs to open his third eye. He needs to, deep dive into a lot of other things. And he's not. He's really not doing it. So when you start sending him little links, snippets of knowledge and power, little by little, you're spoon feeding him knowledge. And that's what you need to do as a twin. Okay? So I hope that helps, because that's what you need to do. Because my job, my life path in this incarnation is to make sure that as many twins are going to be in union, and if they can't be, that the one twin that's enlightened continues their spiritual journey ascending and showing them how to get into a high-level soulmate connection. Hi, how are you, Beth? Spirit says subtle hints need to be made to him regarding the connection. No, that's not Spirit saying that. Sorry, that's not Spirit saying that. I know for a fact it's not Spirit. That's your ego. Be aware of those voices, because that's not it. Because if Spirit was really talking to you, it'd say, wake him up. Give him tools so he can wake up. Because if he wakes up, he'll know it on his own. You won't have to give him subtle hints. He'll get those subtle hints from his downloads. You won't have to say a word. Your job is to feed him knowledge. Not knowledge about your connection. Knowledge about him as a soul. See, this is where people aren't getting it. They're not getting it. I don't know what it is. They're not getting it. That's all pure ego talk. Because Spirit will say, he's asleep, he's suffering. He's an alcoholic. He's a drug addict. He's a sex addict. He's self-destructive. Give him knowledge. Give him healing. Him knowing that you're his twin, that's not it. That's not going to heal him. That's not going to make him overcome addictions. That's not going to do. No, he needs to know who he is as a spirit soul. And all of that needs to come from you giving him knowledge from sources that you know for real are good. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Michael Singer, Michael Newton, Dolores Cannon, Ruth Montgomery, Rempati Lopsang, Thich Nhat Hanh. Spirit would never say that. That's ego. I know that for a fact. That's why I'm being stern. This is so true. We have to wake them up. I learned this from Tony. Thank you, Anushka. I have psychic abilities. It was during my meditation. Sweetie Pie, be careful, because you need to discern, because that's not it. Because I've been in meditation, deep meditations, and I've had spirit real guides coming in and asshole spirits coming in. Be careful, because as we go through the ascension, there are other spirits that are not wanting you to win. The minute you pull the trigger on saying, you're my twin flame, they run like hell, and you might be waiting another 10 years. Take my word for it. He knows we're twins, but he doesn't understand. He can't understand until he wakes up. What do you think about healers who believe it's your responsibility to heal your twin? You can't heal. No one, listen, I got healers telling me that they got another person opening their third eye. I almost fell off my chair. I didn't even know people could actually be that naive to believe that someone else can open your third eye. The only person that can open your third eye is you. You can guide them to tools that open their third eye or wake your twin up. But you can't wake your twin up. It's like me saying, well, I got to lose 50 pounds. Will you go to the gym for me? You're the one that's going to get in shape, not me, because I'm sitting here waiting for you to go to the gym every day. It's insane. Who the hell comes up with this shit? I mean, the lack of common sense. Even spirituality has a level of common sense. I'm not kidding. It's not crazy. Does that make sense? I run from those healers. I hear you. You're in the wrong channel, my friend. So what do I think about healers who believe it's your responsibility to heal your twin? I think they're barking up the wrong tree, and that's not how you teach twins how to heal twins. The way you heal your twin is you send your twin information. They need to see, when you're in union, they see you meditating. My twin meditated the first time ever in his life last week for 5 minutes, and he did it, and he was really proud of himself. You know why he's done it? Because he sees me getting up. If I can't sleep, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning meditating for 30 minutes. He sees it. And so now he's doing it. And so the goal is now to get him to 6 minutes and then 7 minutes. And he's all about goals. He's like all about goals. You know what I'm saying? I noticed using discernment is actually helpful. Some information is misleading. Yeah, but again, Lily, you can't be afraid of your heart guiding you. But discernment is the monkey mind. So this is why you become a trapezist of discernment. Because on one end, you can't let your monkey mind control the show. On the other, as you go into meditation, sometimes you have, even though, because, I don't do a circle when I meditate. When I do, like, if I'm going to do something intense, I open a divine circle above and below, right? So nothing's walking into that shit. No one's walking in except pure guidance. But when I meditate, I'm not doing that. I've saged myself, whatever. But I've had a couple doozies walk in. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? I know you're not right. And I have to get them out of my meditation. It's happened. And I remember talking to one of my healers. I work with a healer myself personally. And I said to her, X, Y, and Z happened. What do you think? Oh, no, yeah. Good thing you got rid of it. I go, yeah, I thought so. But I knew it was wrong. And they've never appeared since. They won't dare. I was actually sleeping. And I saw these demonic, like, weird, gargoyle-like things. And I went, get the fuck out of here. I swear to God, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And I started calling on my 5 archangel, Angel Metatron, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Ezekiel. Protect me, protect my twin, protect my son. Not in that order. Protect my animals, protect this apartment, protect this place. Got on my stomach, fell back asleep, and slept like a baby. It's happening. Because you guys are going through ascension, you're going to have to be really clear with your heart as to whether or not this feels right or feels dense or off. It's like bad food in your mouth. You spit it out, right? Well, do the same spiritually. Yes, it is because of spiritual attacks. Anyone else have a lot of trouble sleeping this last year? Is it because of spiritual attacks during sleep time? Yes, it's happening. I hope I just kind of shared. Hopefully you heard that. So that's what you do. Okay? And I think I just had a moment like that. Yeah, it happens. The closer you get into your powerful light, the more likely you're going to get hit by a dark a darkness. And it's not because you're failing. It's actually because you're progressing. And you know what's happening to a lot of my clients? They'll say, oh my God, blah, blah, blah happened. And I just shut it all down. And I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going, that's exactly what they want you to do. You are doing exactly why they came in to scare the shit out of you so you would stop meditating. They won. Now go back and meditate. And for some, I have to talk them off the ledge because they're really freaking out. My son said he felt someone touching him. Sage the damn house. Sage the outskirts of the house and sage the inside of the house, all the windows, all the mirrors, and all the doors. And say, only people of light come through this door. Only people of light come through this window. And start protecting it, okay? Yes, thank you. I have salt lamps in every room. I have one at the foot of my bed and one at the head. The darkness wants to keep twins apart. Absolutely. Don't think it. This is not woohoo shit. This isn't fairy tale Ken and Barbie stories. This is real. Okay? This is real. I'm sitting on the floor, so you're going to see all kinds of my crap all over the place. But it's a real thing. While I was talking this to you, something fell downstairs. Okay, thanks. Yeah. So sage the house. Remember, we are the most powerful creatures on this plane. We have nothing to fear. Light always. Exactly. And that's why I keep getting trolled. That's another reason why I don't like to show my face, to be honest, because there are people that would actually do spell. I'm not being paranoid. Spell work and I'd have to fucking maneuver through that shit too. It's like, and believe me, you have no idea the trolls I've had. You think you know because you've seen a couple idiots come on my live, but there are trolls that are for real. Only love and light. No negative energies or entities allowed. Okay, Lily, let's rewrite this. Only love and light. Do not say no negative energies or entities allowed. You don't have to say that. Because just saying only love and light come in, and only love and light follow me wherever I go, and only love and light is going to walk through this door, and only love and light follow me and are constantly my companions. The minute you add no negative energies, the universe doesn't hear no or. It will see negative energies or entities allowed. Be very careful. Cut through darkness, former Jiva, we were taught to fear all but God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. It's weird, you can't fear tomorrow. Yeah. Okay? So, does that make sense, Lily? So rewrite it, because that's part of the reason why people don't win. Okay, thanks for the advice. For dusty haters out here really thriving on bringing everyone's vibration down. Yeah. And I think that people who constantly show their face are very brave and they're fine. I'm not judging them. It's just for me personally, yeah, I won't do it. Now, why do you think most of the tarot readers only show their hands? Have you ever noticed that on YouTube? Go look. Go how many show their face. The majority of tarot readers do their hands only. My twin and I are in separation. I'm really sorry. I'm back. My battery ran out. Mine did too. That's why I went blank. Now I have a candle. Sorry, I have a dyslexia. It's hard to type fast. No, don't worry about it. Most say it deters demons. Yeah. How do you feel about evil eye? Some say it is mirror for demons to watch through. I've never used an evil eye thing. I'm not saying you're wrong, because I'm not saying you're wrong. I personally, what I do is I use a black tourmaline the size of a man's thumb, and I also sage the shit out of myself. So I think that's pretty much the evil eye. What are your thoughts on self-destructive energies? Why are we drawn to them sometimes? Because anything that is a reflection of our own shadows from this incarnation and past incarnations are going to attract us, because we were those shadows before. Can you say nothing that does not serve me is allowed? No. Say only things that serve me come into me and follow me wherever I go. Do you understand the logic here, Lily? Or just reverse the phrase by taking out the nothing part. Yeah, exactly. Can you say, so what you would say is, only things that serve my highest good surround me, follow me, and protect me. I could listen to you talk all day. I appreciate you. You're so funny. God. Okay, got it. Yeah. That's really important, because here, the thing about manifesting isn't just saying the words, it's feeling the words. Is there such a thing as a good witch? You damn right there is. Many of us have been good witches. Midwives, herbalists, healers, druidic, high priestesses. That's a good witch. And we were still burned at the stake. Hence why many of us are muzzled. Thank you, Alice and G. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But right now we have a lot of bad witches. And I don't mean what you think. They're doing a lot of crazy shit. Eyes Wide Shut is a good example. I remember I was in the Bahamas. I used to live back and forth in the Bahamas. And I bought a book at the hotel. It was the Holiday Inn. It's called the Sheraton. It's called the British Colonial Hotel, right there on Nassau. Anyway, I bought this book. And it was about Satanism. And this person that had gone into hypnosis and was remembering all of the shit that had happened to her. The book was written in the 1970s, and I bought it in the mid-1980s. I was 19. I read the whole thing, because I'm a reader, but I was absolutely freaked the fuck out, terrified. And then, here we are now, damn near, 40 years later, whatever, realizing that this shit is common. So, yeah, we have some really dark things. We've always had it, but now we're fully aware of what is happening, and we have full autonomy and free will to move out of the victim mode and to move into powerfully manifesting the world we want. It's called an egregore. You should look up this stuff, an egregore. An egregore energy is when a collective agrees on X, Y, and Z energy. So you see the energy of destruction as pure shadow energy. Wow. I'm with my soulmate. The dark forces are working hard to keep us in victim mode so that we don't ascend. Exactly. Thank you. So you see the energy of destruction as pure shadow energy. I don't think they're shadow. I think some of them are real, clearly. But yeah, a lot of them are shadow energy, yes. What about destruction in terms of Kali? Well, I think that Kali Ma destroys, if you've ever really looked at the energy of Kali Ma destroys for the greater good of new construction. So it's like taking a house that has black mold and toxic mold and asbestos and infestation of cockroaches and just leveling it. There's nothing you can save. That house is fucking rotten. You can't save it. It's crap. Level it, burn it, clean it, purge it, see if the foundation can still be used, or pour a new foundation and build again. That's Kali. It's necessary. What should I do to get my twin to stay? He gets scared of how powerful our love is. Wake him up. Exactly. I also think a destruction can be used for both light and shadow. Always. Always. Okay. So, I have to go. It's time for bed for me. But I want to thank you all. Dragonfly, just look at all my videos. Wake him up. That's my message now. Wake him up. Wake him up. Wake him up. There's tons of videos on that. Lily, just follow me and watch my videos. I have to go because I've been on this thing for 2 hours, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it. But I'm keeping people up because my voice is keeping them up. My twin's ready to go to bed. My son's ready to go to bed. Damn near the animals want to go to bed. It's like I could do this for another hour. But listen, if you want a reading with me, you need to go on my profile on my link tree and fill out the intake form on my website, Sacred Womb Temple Healing. Like, do not think I'm contacting you for a reading. No fucking way am I going to thank you, Frankie. No way am I going to contact you for a reading. Do not get scammed by accounts that look like mine. If you want a reading, you need to honestly save my life. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Bless yourselves. Thank you. So if you want a reading, you know what to do, right? You're going to fill out the intake form. If you're from another country, you're going to tell me the what's up country, WhatsApp. We're going to use that. I'm going to call you, and we'll talk for about 10, 15 minutes so you can hear my voice, and we can talk, and we can connect. And then we're going to book a reading on the phone together. And we're going to figure out, timelines and this and that. But I am never going to not talk to you. And so on point. It blows my mind. Thank you. I've been saging so crazy that I'm coughing. But anyway, all right, so trust the process. Trust the universe. Know you're not crazy. Click on my Linktree profile for the Discord. Go on a Discord. Get and align to your tribe. Talk to us through the Discord. There's a family there waiting so that you can at least have chats with other people who are twin flames just like you and starseeds going through this shit. Okay? All right, my loves. Let's look at the flame. And let's send beautiful energy of fire and clarity to the world, to your twin, to your heart, to yourself. Sending clarity for great healing. Thank you, Anushka. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, all of you. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well.